Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Abilities Podcast. I am your host, Nick Earhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. So today we have Mel Carr, and this lady is phenomenal. Me and her were attendees on a summit earlier this year. I know she does some amazing things and helps a lot of people, but I want her to tell you what she does. So, Mel, can you tell the audience what you're all about?
Oh my gosh, do we have enough time to cover everything? Yeah, great be on your show. So Mel C, I own a couple of amazing companies. First is Clover C. Clover C is an executive virtual assistant agency. So virtual assistants. I have a fantastic female team, all based here in the U.S. as well as Six Figure Chicks. We have the book series that is launching in every state here in the nation. And the book series celebrates fantastic females and sharing their stories of resilience and triumphs to empower the readers to be as successful and more than them, as well as a nonprofit, Her Right to Rise. So the nonprofit is geared to empower the next generation of female leaders.
That's amazing. And this is why I had you tell the audience what you do, because I know you do so much, and I was just like, yeah, we'll just let you explain all that. Now, what is your favorite part about what you do?
Gosh, it's challenging to just say, which one part of
Yeah.
those many businesses are my favorite. With Clover Sea, it's an amazing opportunity to give back time to successful business owners like ourselves because, in the beginning, we usually wear all the hats. And to be able to grow your business while still wearing all the hats is sometimes kind of difficult to do. And we don't need to be doing everything in our business. So it's great to give time back to our clients as well as giving work opportunities to the fantastic women that are on my team. So it's a, a great opportunity to provide a service to both our clients as well as my team members. And then with Six Figure Chicks, it's amazing seeing the transformation with the authors after they write down their stories, putting pen to paper and getting over those roadblocks of self-doubt and really owning their success and sharing that with the world so that we can empower others to be as successful as us.
Mhm. Yeah, that's amazing. So it sounds to me like your favorite part about what you do is my favorite part about what I do. We help people. We
Yeah,
help people live a better life.
most definitely. I love
Yeah.
that. And yes, we do. It's all about how can we serve others.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Now, we always like to share stories, and as you know, your story is what connects your audience with you. So, can you tell us a little bit of background on where you came from and what brought you to where you're at now?
Great question. Yeah, people ask me all the time, like, hey, so what's your story? We all do have stories, and I always like to say, facts tell, but stories sell.
Exactly.
People buy you before they buy your product or service. And it's interesting to think back on, I've had 20 plus years in corporate small business experience living overseas for a number of years. And my most favorite part is Maui for 16 years.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, so after I, lived on an island and traveled the world, I settled down in Arizona, and that's where I'm at currently. And when I was ready to get back into the workforce, it just didn't feel right. And I thought, well, how can I do this on my own? How can I be an entrepreneur? And I was able to use the resources around me, the people that were in my circle of influence to help guide me to owning my own business. And that's where Clover came in pre COVID. And thanks to the help of mentors and business coaches and professionals around me, I was able to create a hugely successful company. And and that's a part of why I created Her Right to Rise. Because thinking back on my younger years, when I was 18, I had no idea what a mentor was. Like,
Yeah.
and if I had had a mentor in my life at that young age, my life would have been a lot different.
Same.
Yeah, right? And it's so important. I mean, I was living on my own when I was 15, and I had to work my way up. And it's the same with my businesses. I've started from ground zero and created some magnificently successful companies, but huge huge part to do with the people that were in my life at that time.
Mhm. Yeah, mentors are so important. I have three main mentors, and I don't think you should go above three as far as your main ones because then you can start to get confused because everybody has different ideas, you know. But I wish, just like you, that I would have had a mentor at 18. Now, I did have my dad, and I thank him for everything he taught me. But now my mentors are, like Grant Cardone or Rob Dial, people like them where they have the success that I want. So I can follow in their footsteps and take their advice to get to where I want to be.
Yeah, most definitely. And I believe that mentors should be outside of your close network, your family,
Definitely.
friends, because they only want the best for you, of course. However, mentors outside of that close network are going to be able to really give you practical, tactical advice and experience and knowledge.
Now, speaking of that, looking back at when you were first getting started with your mentors, what is that one piece of advice that you got that totally changed everything? Because I feel like I know I have mine. So
Yeah. Well, that's great. It's easy for me to go back to my first business coach, Carrie Conley. Um,
I know Carrie.
yes,
Yeah,
we were both on her event together, and yes, she was my very first business coach,
that's
and
cool.
she um she asked me point blank of right when we were getting started, how much do you want to make? And I'm like, oh gosh, that was my first year in business. And I just really hadn't thought about it yet like that. And I said, I just want to have a good life, earn enough money to pay the bills and enjoy my creation. She's like, well, we really need something to look forward to, like a target. And I said, okay, fine, $100,000. And so she wrote it down and she's like, okay, now we have something to work towards. Because before it was kind of like just going through the motions. I didn't know what I wanted to reach as far as like my goals, my revenues. I didn't have anything in front of me. And so she wrote it down and I surpassed that in my first year because she gave me
Amazing.
the tools to do so.
Yep.
And that was, kind of like the spawn of the Six Figure Chicks. And so she helped create so much more than just let's get you to a successful level in your business.
Yep. That's awesome. And I love it because your piece of advice that changed everything for you is the same piece of advice that I got that changed everything for me. You gotta set your goals. You gotta know what you want in life. You have to know what the target is. If you have nothing to reach for, you're never gonna get anywhere. You gotta know what you want.
Yeah, most definitely. And people, they don't know what they don't know.
Oh, yeah, I love that saying.
Right. And it's so simple, but so true.
hmm Yeah, you really don't know what you don't know. And I love because a part of self-development for 4 years now, and that's what I've learned the most is it's like you gotta unlearn more than learn, because our past is our past, and we grew up in a way where a lot of us were held back and being told that you can't do something, and you don't know that. You don't know what you don't know, and as soon as you can figure out, like, the things that you need to stop doing, the more things that you can put into your life that you should be doing.
Yes, and the more influential people that you want to invite into your life.
Yeah, yeah, well, like they say, your network is your net worth.
Yes, great. Yes.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to six-figure chicks, tell us more about that, because I really like that.
Yes, it's a pretty catchy name.
It
Like,
is.
it just rolls off the tongue.
Yep.
People often ask me, "Well, what about seven-figure chicks?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, someday." However, it just still doesn't have that, like, nice ring to it. So, six-figure chicks was, born from my experience in, growing my first company, and from my business coach, Carrie, and all the other influential women that I've had in my life since then. But I thought back on, my corporate days or growing up, we didn't come together to celebrate our, success openly with each other. It wasn't like, hey, great, I just got this well of a client and, I earned $50,000 or I reached $250,000 this year. We didn't talk about the dollar amounts and or celebrating each other's success of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did this. Congratulations, because that empowered and motivated me to do this. And so I took the thought process of sharing successful women's stories of resilience, triumph, sharing their roadblocks that they've overcome, as well as like best business practices, because our readers can attach or understand one or more of the chapters in the books and then gain golden nuggets from what is shared. Like we talk about those roadblocks such as imposter syndrome or perfectionism. A lot of us have experienced those things in our professional life or in our own businesses. And to be able to know that you're not alone, other people have gone through this, and this is what they've done to get past those roadblocks or challenges. And, sharing other business practices such as family, faith, networking to kind of move the needle forward, and how they did that, how they used those opportunities to grow themselves personally and professionally, so that the readers know that yeah, they're not alone, or wow, this person did this to scale their career or their business. I should do it too. It's just great books filled with tangible golden nuggets of information that other people can be like, okay, I can do it. I can be as successful or more than this person. And if we can impact at least one person's life from sharing our story, job well done.
Yep. I love that because, I love people sharing their story, because no matter what your story is, if you share it, you're gonna help at least one person, because somebody else has gone through something similar, and or is going through something similar, and they can't figure out how to get past that. And for people like us sharing our stories, you give women a platform to do that, which is incredible. And yeah, you're just helping, I'm sure, millions of people by now.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's what it is like we're all in this together, right? We
Hmm.
all want to help each other reach that next level.
Yep, exactly,
Right.
exactly.
We're all in this together. So your success is mine because like, being on your show is being able to share my wisdom, my experiences, my growth to help somebody else out. And you're on
Yep.
this show to give people voices.
Exactly it. You know, I I I hear it frequently like, Nick, you want to talk about what you do and not on your podcast? It's like that's not why I created this. I share that on social media. This is for me to help others share their story. So
Yeah, most definitely. And I love it. I was talking to a woman yesterday and she shared with me something so valuable that she said, when we don't feel alone, that's when lives are changed. And, I'm so thankful to have you in my circle of influence just from a chance meeting at an event through another wonderful person.
yeah, exactly. And you never know where life's gonna take you. Like one connection with someone can change your whole life.
Yeah.
You know,
Most
just like when you met a kid, it completely changed your whole life. You know, it's incredible how the world works. And before you met Carrie, first you had to put it out there that you wanted to do something because you had this idea, I want to do something on my own. So you put that out there, and then the universe sent you Carrie to help you get there.
Yeah, most definitely. It's mind over matter. Like, kind of put the intention out there, do the activities or take the leap that isn't always comfortable, to be able to meet the new people that will impact your lives today or, you know, tomorrow or next year. You just don't know.
I like to say, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You
Most
know, because
definitely.
your comfort zone is always going to hold you back. So the more you step out of it, the further you're going to go in life, and the further you're going to get closer to your goals.
Right on. Like, I, I say keep asking until they point blank say no.
Yep, yep. And be okay with no's.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because the more no's you get, the more yeses you're going to get. You
Yeah.
know?
I know. I love it when they say, no, not right now, but maybe later. And then that's just the ownership is on you to keep following up, follow
Yep,
up, follow through.
yep, yep. I'm big on follow up. And, you know, it's, a lot of businesses don't follow up as much as they should. Most of them give up after the second attempt.
Right.
And it's actually between the eighth and 12th follow up is where you actually get a client on average. So you got to follow up. You know, and everybody knows that you have good days and bad days. Well, if you talk to one of your leads on a bad day, it might not matter what the hell you say. They're gonna say no matter what.
Yeah.
And then you call them the next day, and they're having a good day, and they sign up right then and there. You know, so that's why it's just important. Just keep following up.
Yeah, most definitely. And a great story from the Six Figure Chick side. So I each book is compiled of different authors. So it's usually 11 to 20 different successful females in a book launch city. So the Six Figure Chicks, volume one, I was out in my community talking to the women that I knew. I spoke to one lady and she was like, no, you know, this isn't something I have time for. And I kept in contact with her. She was in my circles of network. And then as we had the book launch event, she attended it. And then I met her at another event shortly after. And she's like, you know what? I I I feel bad that I didn't say yes on your first book. I want to be an author now. Are you going to have a second volume? And I, kind of thought about it. I was like, gosh, I wasn't planning on a second volume so soon. However, she took that leap of being uncomfortable with her previous decision and said, hey, I really want to be a part of this. Can I? And that birthed the second volume. But it was amazing to experience that after so long. It had been probably a year since I initially asked her. So, like you said, you have to just continue circling back and staying top of mind without being,
Mhm.
annoying. And that's
Yeah.
what we want to be, right? Like we
Yep.
just want to make sure that they know we're still here. Like, hi.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. And like we all change every day. So who you are today is not who you are tomorrow. If you were to ask me about a year and 3 months ago if I would start my own podcast, I would tell you, hell no. Like, that's just not me. I've always been afraid to talk to strangers, afraid to speak on stage, which now I'm doing that too. And it's just, you can change. Like, people change, and what you want now or don't want now, you could want later. So, and that reminds me of one of my accountability partners. He just closed a deal like last week with somebody that he's been following up with for 15 years and
Wow.
finally got the sale. So yeah, it's like just stay on top of their mind, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. That's a very long climb.
Yeah, let's not hope it takes that long. Yeah,
But it's a
exactly.
success story. Goodness, it's
Yeah,
great to be able to still remember them after that long.
exactly. Yeah. And yeah, he just kept in contact with him all these years and finally the guy was ready to go.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, now I do want to talk about your foundation because I would like to support that.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. It was from the Six Figure Chicks books as we've developed the books to be state community specific. I wanted to be able to really leave a legacy for these authors or give them something more than just writing their story, even though that's a pretty big deal. Uh, Being published in a international best-selling book, being a part of a book series, a movement, a community of like-minded women, I wanted to again see how we can impact the community even further. And we were going to, join different local nonprofits to be able to give back to those young women. I thought, gosh, okay, I know exactly who I want to impact and empower. Why don't I create my own nonprofit? And, it's easier said than done. Um, but however, with the help of one of the authors from the Phoenix Volume 1, Shantoya Nicole, she owns a nonprofit, Brighter View Foundation. She was like, wow, let's talk about this and see how we can assist you in your starting of the nonprofit, Her Right to Rise. So, Brighter View Foundation fiscally sponsors Her Right to Rise so that we were able to start right up because I barely have time to manage myself, let alone fill out all the paperwork for a nonprofit.
Yep,
And so it was created last year. Her Right to Rise is all about finding the women, late teens, late 20s, to empower them through the writing and be able to build their confidence and give them knowledge and expertise from all of these authors. So if every book launch city will have a mentorship day after the book is launched, and it's a full day packed with great knowledge sharing, empowerment, inspiration from the authors to these young women. And we're also partnering with another nonprofit, Amanda Hope. Lorraine Tallman is an author in the volume 2. Amanda Hope is the creator of cozies for children going through chemotherapy. And so we're empowering the mentees to create vision capes for these tiny heroes going through chemotherapy.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's a trifecta of goodness
Yeah,
and really giving power to the mentees to impact their next generation.
Yep. Now, where can the audience go to find out more about that and be a part of that?
Wonderful. So they can always start with sixfigurechicks.com and or herrighttorise.org. And it's right, WRITE, like writing. Um, and, every book launch city will have the mentorship day. The first mentorship day is coming up for the Houston Volume 1. So we'll be in the Houston community looking for those fantastic young females to help empower. And that will be in September. And then we'll have Phoenix Volume 2 Mentorship Day later in September. So if you're in Phoenix or Houston, I welcome you to be a part of, sponsoring those events, being a part of the events. We are looking to give scholarships to those young women in helping with their passion or with education. So we're all about whatever the women want to do. If they want to have a career and are passionate about that, I want to support them. If they want to start their own business and they just don't know how, I want to be able to support them with the authors.
That's incredible. What you do is just phenomenal. So
Thank you.
thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all the authors who are part of this movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
we're all in this together.
That you are. That you are. I love it. It's incredible. Now, I gotta ask you before we end. I ask this question to every guest. My slogan is "Your abilities are infinite." What does that mean to you?
My abilities to bring together, amazing people to help impact the world. And together we rise. Without, you know, all the other people in my circles of influence, I would not be able to do what I do so well.
Yep, exactly. Amazing. And then, do you have any last words of wisdom you would like to share with the audience?
Well, I would say just again, come together because, without you in my life, Nick, I wouldn't be on your amazing show. I wouldn't know you. I wouldn't have had conversations with you. So, definitely step outside your comfort zone and say hi to somebody you don't know.
Yep. Build your network.
Yeah.
That's key in this day and age.
Yes. And thank you so much for being a great friend and somebody that I can call on if I need to.
Of course, of course. Thank you for being on the show. This was amazing.
Yes.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in it, the Nick to Your Heart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember your abilities are infinite.